My name is Georgia Atkin-Smith and I'm a final year PhD student in the La Trobe Institute for Molecular Science. What I'm working on is in the field of biochemistry and immunology. In the human body, every day billions of cells are dying, and when these cells die, they break apart into smaller pieces. And we're basically looking into that process. And in particular, I'm looking into influenza infection. So when you get the flu, there's a mass amount of cell death within your lung. So we're looking at this process of cell death in the case of influenza and seeing how does this fragmentation event affect the pathogenesis of influenza. It's very common in the undergraduate classes to have a lot of girls go through things like biomed and biological sciences degrees, but by the time it gets to like postdoc and then professor levels, these ratios really drop down and there are not very many women in these higher roles. And I think one of the main causes for this is it's quite difficult for women to go through having children and have maternity leave and then stay quite a prominent figure in the science field. I thought that Instagram would be just a good small thing to start with, and I don't really know why, but it's kind of turned into a really good platform to choose, because after I first made my account I realised how many science Instagram accounts there are, and there's a huge scientific community on Instagram, so it's a really easy way for people to share contact and network and keep in touch. I use a lot of social media, so I personally have Facebook, my own personal Instagram, LinkedIn, I use WhatsApp and Snapchat, and I just created a Twitter but I don't really use it. My initial thought was a lot of my friends and family might not have any idea of what it means to be a scientist. And I think that can kind of take it on a bigger scale, so I can not only show the people that I know, but younger people or people all around the world what exactly it means to be a scientist and what we do on a daily basis. And also to educate others and myself, so I learn so much by going through other people's blogs, and I really try to educate others and share what we do. On the weekend, my brother Rodney came to visit and I brought him into the lab and we set up a little science experiment to see how much bacteria and germs basically we carry around on us normally. What we did is we got one of these bacterial plates, so an LB plate, which basically contains a series of supplements to promote bacterial growth. And we got his clean glove, wiped it on his pants and his shoes, and then put a big fingerprint on the middle of the plate. Few days growth on my bench at room temperature. The plate, which looks like this before, now looks like this. So you can see it is covered in mold and bacteria and possibly also fungus, which is pretty disgusting. And finally, a really creepy thing about this experiment is these plates actually contain the antibiotic ampicillin, and it really highlights the issue we are facing these days with antibiotic resistance, as all of these pathogens can grow in the presence of this antibiotic. I definitely think my biggest motivation for doing my Instagram is it's genuinely really fun. So I really enjoy posting things and getting feedback and communicating with people on Instagram. Everyone is very active in talking to one another and inboxing and commenting, and that network and that community, it's a really fun community to be a part of. So that's definitely my biggest motivation. I definitely am actively trying to make sure I'm very honest. So although all my posts, I want to talk about not only good things and achievements and things that are working in the lab, but also really focusing on the fact that in science, a lot of the time things don't work and the troubles you have and the hurdles. And I think it's really important to have an honest and holistic view of what a scientist is and the day-to-day of a scientist, because realistically a lot of the time things fail, things don't work, and it's a lot of troubleshooting. I think that's really important to show. It's really fun. It's really fun and very challenging, and I really enjoy it because you get to constantly learn new things all the time. So in my experiments and in the literature and going to seminars, you're constantly learning, and you're in this unique field where you're discovering things for the first time. So that's a really exciting feeling.